precious soul, something has just shifted, and you were not brought here by accident. Out of all the moments in your life, out of all the distractions that could have pulled you away, you are here right now because heaven refused to let you miss this warning. This is urgent. This is real. And this is happening for you, not against you. Listen closely, because what I'm about to reveal will shake you to your core. For years, yes, years, there has been something working quietly behind the scenes of your life. Not visible to your eyes, not obvious to your mind, but deeply present in the patterns you couldn't explain, in the sudden delays, in the strange resistance that showed up exactly when you were about to move forward. You thought it was bad luck. You thought it was timing. But Archangel Michael is stepping forward now, and he is saying clearly, it was not random. Someone or something has been working against you in secret. Feel that for a moment, not to create fear, but to awaken truth, because the truth has power. And right now, truth is breaking through the silence that has surrounded you for far too long. Think back to the opportunities that almost happened but slipped away at the last second. The relationships that felt right but turned confusing overnight. The moments when you felt drained without reason, as if something was quietly pulling your energy away. You tried to stay strong. You told yourself to keep going. But deep inside, there was always a question. Why does this keep happening to me? Now you have your answer. There has been a plan. A calculated, hidden effort designed to slow you down, to cloud your clarity, to make you doubt your own path. And the most unsettling part is how long it has been unfolding without your awareness. But listen carefully, because this is where everything takes a divine turn. That plan is reaching its end. Right now. In this moment. On this very day, May 11th, something powerful is happening in the unseen realm. Archangel Michael is not watching from a distance anymore. He is intervening. His presence is cutting through every layer of deception, every hidden scheme, every silent attack that has tried to hold you back. And here is the part that will surprise you the most. It only takes one click to cancel everything. Yes, one single, intentional action. A moment of alignment. A decision that connects you directly with divine authority. You may not fully understand it yet, and that's okay. Because this message is unfolding exactly the way it needs to. But can you feel the urgency building? There is a window opening, a brief, powerful moment where everything that has been working against you begins to lose its grip. The chains are weakening. The walls are cracking. The energy that once surrounded you is starting to collapse under the weight of divine truth. This is not the time to doubt. This is not the time to scroll away and forget what you're hearing. Because your spirit already recognizes this. That sudden stillness you feel, a quiet pull telling you to keep listening, that's not coincidence. That's confirmation. You were meant to hear this before it's too late to act. Archangel Michael is standing near, and his message is clear. The cycle ends now, but you must be present to witness it, to understand it, and to activate what has been placed in your hands. Stay with me, because what comes next will reveal the hidden signs you may have overlooked all along. And once you see them, you will never question your journey the same way again. Listen carefully, because what you are about to understand will connect every confusing moment you have ever faced. It will begin to make sense of the patterns, the delays, and the silent battles that left you questioning your own path. Nothing was random. Nothing was meaningless. There has been a hidden layer to your life, a spiritual undercurrent that you were never meant to see until now. Archangel Michael is revealing that what you have been experiencing is not just ordinary struggle. It hath been a form of unseen resistance, a quiet opposition that does not announce itself loudly, but instead works subtly, patiently, and persistently. This kind of interference does not break down your life all at once. Instead, it chips away at your confidence, your clarity, and your momentum over time. Think about the moments when you felt ready to move forward, when everything seemed aligned, and then suddenly something shifted. A delay appeared. A misunderstanding arose. An unexpected obstacle blocked your way. It wasn't dramatic enough to seem like an attack, but it was just enough to stop your progress. This is how hidden opposition works. It disguises itself as coincidence. There were also times when your energy felt unusually low without explanation. Moments when your motivation disappeared, even though nothing external had changed. You may have blamed yourself, thinking you were not strong enough or focused enough. But Archangel Michael is making it clear now that weight you felt was not entirely yours. This unseen force has been influencing situations around you, sometimes even working through people who may not have been fully aware of their role. Not everyone who crossed your path carried bad intentions, but some were unknowingly part of a larger pattern that created confusion, doubt, or emotional strain in your life. You may remember conversations that left you questioning yourself, situations where you felt misunderstood, even when you were being genuine, times when you gave your best, yet the outcome felt strangely off. These were not isolated incidents. They were connected. And here is something even deeper to consider: the repetition. The same types of challenges appearing again and again, just in different forms. Different faces, different environments, but the same emotional outcome. That cycle was not accidental. It was designed to keep you in a loop, to prevent you from stepping fully into your purpose. But despite all of this, you are still here. You are still standing. You are still searching for truth. And that alone tells you something powerful. Whatever has been working against you has not been able to defeat you. Now, in this moment, Archangel Michael is shining light on what was hidden. Because once something is revealed, it loses its power to operate in secrecy. Darkness cannot survive where truth is present. This is why this message feels different. This is why you feel a shift happening inside you. It is not just information, it is activation. Your awareness is rising, and with that awareness comes authority. The patterns are breaking. The confusion is clearing. And the very force that once operated quietly is now being exposed, weakened, and brought to its final moments. But you must stay alert, because what is about to be revealed next goes even deeper. The source behind this hidden opposition is closer than you think, and understanding it will unlock the final step toward complete freedom. Keep listening, because the truth is no longer hiding. There is something you must be prepared to hear, because what is being revealed now may challenge everything you thought you understood about the opposition you have faced. Archangel Michael is not only exposing the pattern, he is now uncovering the source behind it. And this truth is not meant to frighten you, it is meant to free you. The force that has been working against you was never just a random energy drifting through your life. It operated with intention. It moved with awareness. And in many cases, it found pathways through people, environments, and moments that seemed completely ordinary on the surface. This is what makes it so difficult to detect. Not every person who played a role in your struggle was consciously against you. Some were simply vessels, unaware, influenced, and used as channels for confusion, delay, or emotional disruption. Archangel Michael wants you to understand this clearly, so that your heart does not fill with unnecessary anger. Because this battle was never truly about flesh and blood, it was about influence. There may have been one individual, however, whose presence in your life felt different. Someone whose actions consistently left you drained, uncertain, or questioning your worth. Someone whose words carried a subtle weight, planting seeds of doubt that grew over time. You may not have recognized it fully then, but your spirit felt it. The discomfort, that hesitation, that quiet inner voice telling you something was not right. That was your discernment trying to guide you. And now, that truth is coming to the surface. Archangel Michael is lifting the veil, not so you can dwell on the past, but so you can finally understand why certain things unfolded the way they did. The confusion you felt was not because you lacked clarity, it was because something was actively working to distort it. The delays you experienced were not because you were unworthy, they were strategically placed to slow your progress. But here is the turning point that influence is losing its access. Right now, as this message reaches you, there is a divine separation taking place. The connections that once allowed that hidden force to operate in your life are being cut off. The pathways are closing. The interference is weakening with every second. This is why you may already feel a shift, a sense of awareness, a sudden clarity, or even an emotional release that you cannot fully explain. That is not coincidence. That is the beginning of your freedom. And Archangel Michael stands as your protector in this moment, his presence strong, unwavering, and filled with purpose. His sword is not just a symbol, it represents the cutting away of everything that no longer has permission to exist in your life. You are not alone in this. You were never alone. Even in the moments when things felt uncertain, when the weight felt heavy, when the silence made you question everything, there was always a higher protection surrounding you. And now, that protection is moving into action in a way that cannot be ignored. But there is something important you must do. You must acknowledge what has been revealed. Not with fear, not with anger, but with clarity. Because acknowledgement is what seals the exposure. It is what removes the final layer of hidden power that this opposition once held. Say it within yourself. I see the truth now. Feel the strength in that awareness. Because the moment you recognize what was hidden, you step out of its reach. And this is where everything begins to shift completely. The plan that was set against you is no longer stable. It is unraveling. The foundation it stood on is breaking apart, piece by piece. What once seemed strong is now fragile. What once seemed hidden is now visible. And this is only the beginning of its collapse. Type I see clearly now in the comments if this message is aligning with your spirit. Blessing code 519 is now activated, releasing clarity, protection, and divine exposure into your life. And as this truth settles into your heart, understand this: you are standing at the edge of a powerful turning point. What comes next will not only confirm everything you are beginning to realize, but it will also reveal why this exact day holds such significance in your journey. The timing is not accidental. It was always meant to lead you here. As this revelation opens your eyes, there is a deeper calling unfolding within this very moment. When light breaks through darkness, it does not stop with one soul. It begins to spread, touching lives that are still searching, still struggling, still waiting for their moment of truth. This is where you become part of something greater. I feel called to help this message reach someone who needs it right now. Just as a single seed can grow into a field of harvest, your support becomes the channel through which these divine messages continue to flow. The word says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is not just a verse. It is a living promise being activated in your life. Right now, your action carries prophetic weight. When you give through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link in the description or QR code, you are not simply offering support. You are opening a river that allows truth, healing, and divine warning to reach countless others before it is too late. Heaven sees your obedience. Heaven records your response. And as you sow into this mission, may protection surround you, may clarity increase within you, and may every hidden obstacle in your path be permanently removed. Step into this moment with boldness. Act now. There is a reason this moment feels different, a reason the urgency has not faded, but instead grown stronger within you. What you are experiencing right now is not just awareness, it is alignment. And Archangel Michael is now revealing why this exact day, May 11th, carries such powerful significance in your life. This is not just another date on the calendar. This is a divine intersection, a moment where timelines shift, where cycles close, and where what has been hidden is brought fully into the light. There are certain days that pass quietly, unnoticed. And then there are days like this, marked, appointed, and set apart for transformation. May 11th is one of those days. For a long time, you have been moving through a cycle that seemed endless. Patterns repeating, lessons circling back, emotions rising and falling in ways that left you searching for stability. You may have even wondered if things would ever truly change, or if this was simply how life would continue to be. But what you could not see was that this cycle had an expiration point, and that point is now. Archangel Michael is standing at the threshold of this moment, declaring that what has followed you for years no longer has permission to continue. The energy that sustained those patterns is being withdrawn. The spiritual agreement that allowed those cycles to repeat is being broken. This is why everything feels heightened. You may notice a sudden increase in thoughts, memories, or realizations rising to the surface. Things you had forgotten about may suddenly feel vivid again. Encounters or emotions that once confused you may now begin to make sense. This is not your mind creating chaos. This is truth organizing itself. Because before something fully ends, it must first be revealed. This is the final unveiling before the release. And here's what makes this moment even more powerful. You are not just a witness to this change. You are a participant in it. Your awareness, your presence, your willingness to receive this message is part of what activates this shift. Archangel Michael is not forcing anything upon you. Instead, he is inviting you into alignment with what has already been set in motion. Think of it like a door that has been locked for years. Today, that door is not only unlocked, it is open. But you must choose to walk through it. This is why the urgency remains. Because opportunities like this do not linger forever. When divine timing aligns, it creates a window, clear, powerful, but temporary. And within that window, everything can change. The weight you have been carrying can be lifted. The confusion that surrounded you can be cleared. The resistance that slowed you down can be removed completely. But it requires your recognition of this moment. Archangel Michael is guiding you to understand that this is not about striving or struggling. It is about stepping into agreement with what heaven is already doing on your behalf. The battle you didn't even realize you were fighting is reaching its conclusion, not because of force, but because of divine authority. And that authority is now surrounding you. Can you feel the shift becoming stronger? There is a stillness forming beneath the surface of your thoughts. A quiet certainty beginning to replace the confusion that once filled your mind. This is the beginning of peace, not the kind that comes from external circumstances, but the kind that rises from truth. Because once truth is revealed, it cannot be undone. And once a cycle is broken, it cannot rebuild itself in the same way again. This is why May 11th will remain significant for you. It is the marker of an ending, but also the gateway to a beginning you could not fully access before. The old patterns are losing their grip. The hidden influence is fading. And you are standing at the exact point where everything shifts in your favor. But there is still one key element that must be understood fully, one action that connects everything you have heard so far into a single, powerful moment. Archangel Michael is about to reveal it clearly. Because what happens next is not complicated, but it is critical. Stay with this, because the one click is not just a symbol anymore. It is about to become real. Now listen very carefully, because what is about to be revealed is the moment everything has been leading toward. You have felt the buildup. You have sensed the urgency. You have recognized that something unseen has been operating in your life. And now, Archangel Michael is bringing you to the exact point where change becomes action. The one click is no longer a mystery. But it may not look the way you expect. It is not a physical button in the ordinary sense. It is not something complicated or hidden in a distant place. It is something far more powerful than that, because it is directly connected to your awareness, your intention, and your alignment with divine authority. The one click is a decision, a conscious, intentional act where you choose to come into agreement with truth instead of confusion, with clarity instead of doubt, with divine protection instead of hidden interference. It is the moment you stop unconsciously allowing what has been working against you, and instead declare that it no longer has permission to remain. This may seem simple, but do not underestimate it. Because everything that has operated in secrecy relied on one thing: your unawareness. It thrived in the spaces where you questioned yourself, where you hesitated, where you allowed uncertainty to linger. But now, that space is gone. You see clearly, and that changes everything. Archangel Michael is showing you that the one click happens when you make a firm internal declaration. Not casually, not with doubt, but with certainty. A moment where your spirit aligns with truth and says, "This ends now." Feel the weight of that. Because this is not just words, it is authority. When you reach that point of clarity, something powerful happens in the unseen realm. The connections that once allowed interference begin to dissolve. The patterns that once repeated begin to break apart. The influence that once felt strong begins to lose its hold completely. And this is why the timing matters so much. Right now, on this day, the spiritual environment around you is already shifting. The groundwork has been laid. The exposure has already begun. Archangel Michael has already stepped in. What remains is your response. Will you align with what is happening? Or will you let this moment pass as just another message? Because this is not just information. It is an invitation. An invitation to step into a new level of authority in your life. An invitation to stop carrying what was never meant to stay with you. An invitation to finally close a chapter that has been open for far too long. And you do not need anything complicated to do it. You do not need perfect words. You do not need a ritual or a process that feels overwhelming. All you need is a moment of truth within yourself. Right now. Take a breath and feel what is being asked of you. There is something inside you that already knows what must be released. A pattern, a connection, a lingering doubt, or even a fear that has quietly stayed in the background of your life. That is where your one click begins. It is the moment you say, "No more." Not out of frustration, but out of clarity. Not out of fear, but out of authority. And as you make that internal shift, something immediate begins to happen. It may not be visible to your eyes at first, but you will feel it. A lightness, a release, a sense that something has lifted that you didn't even realize you were carrying. That is the breaking point. That is where the hidden plan begins to collapse completely. Archangel Michael stands with you in that moment, reinforcing your decision, strengthening your resolve, and ensuring that what you have released does not return in the same way again. This is why this message found you now, because you are ready. Ready to see, ready to choose, ready to step out of what has been holding you back. And as this decision settles within you, understand this: what happens next will go beyond what you expect. Because once the one click is activated, the response in the unseen realm is immediate and powerful in ways you are about to witness. Stay with this, because the shift has already begun. What you have just activated is already moving. Even if your eyes cannot yet see it, even if your surroundings appear unchanged, something powerful has begun to unfold in the unseen realm. The moment you made that decision, that one click of clarity and authority, you sent a signal that could not be ignored. And Archangel Michael has responded instantly. There is no delay in this realm. There is no hesitation. The shift is immediate. Imagine, for a moment, a structure that has stood for years, quietly, firmly, almost invisibly. A structure built not of physical material, but of influence, patterns, and hidden permissions. That is what has been operating around you. But now, a force has entered that structure with precision and purpose, and it is breaking. Archangel Michael's presence is not passive. It is active, decisive, and unwavering. His sword is not just a symbol of protection. It is an instrument of separation. It divides what belongs from what does not. It cuts away what has overstayed its time. And right now, it is moving through every hidden layer that once allowed interference to exist in your life. The connections are being severed. The pathways are being dismantled. The influence is being stripped of its power. This is not a gradual process. This is a collapse. What once operated quietly is now being thrown into confusion. The very force that worked against you is losing its coordination, its access, its ability to function in the same way. What seemed organized is becoming disordered. What seemed strong is becoming unstable. And you may begin to notice subtle reflections of this in your reality. Situations that once felt heavy may suddenly feel lighter. Conversations that would have drained you may lose their impact. People who once had a certain influence over your emotions may no longer affect you in the same way. This is not coincidence. It is evidence. Evidence that something has shifted at the core. There may also be moments where things feel unsettled for a brief time. Not because something is wrong, but because what was hidden is being removed. When a structure collapses, there is movement, there is adjustment, there is change. But do not mistake this for instability. It is transformation. Archangel Michael is ensuring that what is leaving your life does not leave fragments behind. This is a complete clearing, a precise removal of everything that no longer aligns with your path. And while this is happening, something else is also taking place. You are being strengthened, because as the interference is removed, your natural clarity begins to return. Your intuition sharpens. Your sense of direction becomes clearer. The energy that was once being drained is now being restored to you. You may feel moments of sudden insight, realizations that come without effort, a deeper understanding of things that once confused you. This is your true awareness rising, no longer clouded by what was working against you. And with this awareness comes a new level of authority. You are no longer reacting to hidden forces. You are no longer questioning every step. You are standing in a position where you can see, understand, and choose with clarity. This is what was always meant for you. And this is why this moment is so important. Because once this shift completes, you will not return to the same state of uncertainty again. The patterns that once repeated will not hold the same power. The cycles that once felt endless will no longer have the same access to your life. But stay aware, because as this collapse continues, something else is about to happen. What was hidden is not just being removed, it is being revealed. And that revelation will bring a level of understanding that will confirm everything you have felt but could not explain. Archangel Michael is not only ending the interference, he is showing you the truth behind it. And when that truth becomes fully visible, there will be no doubt left. Stay with this, because what is about to come into the light will change how you see everything that has happened and everything that is about to happen next. Something is rising to the surface now, and you are meant to see it with clarity you have never had before. What was once hidden behind confusion, masked by distraction, or softened by doubt is no longer able to stay concealed. Archangel Michael is allowing the truth to emerge fully, not in fragments, not in uncertainty, but in a way that brings undeniable understanding. This is the moment of exposure, and it may come in ways you do not expect. For some, it will be a sudden realization, like a veil lifting from your memory. Moments from your past will begin to connect in a way they never did before. Conversations, actions, and decisions will align into a clear pattern that reveals what was truly happening beneath the surface. You may find yourself thinking, "Now I understand, now it makes sense." For others, the exposure may come through present circumstances, a truth revealed in real time, a situation unfolding that shows you exactly who or what was contributing to the confusion, the delay, or the emotional weight you carried. It may not be dramatic or loud, but it will be unmistakable. Because when truth arrives, it does not need to force itself to be believed. It simply is. Archangel Michael is guiding this process carefully. He is not exposing these things to hurt you, but to free you. Because without understanding, there is always a part of you that wanders, a part that questions, a part that remains tied to what has already ended. But once you see clearly, the tie is broken. You are no longer connected to confusion. You are no longer influenced by what you could not identify. You are no longer carrying questions that have no answers. Instead, you stand in awareness, and awareness changes everything. You may feel a mixture of emotions as this truth settles within you. Relief because you finally understand. Validation because what you felt was real. And perhaps even a quiet sense of release, as if something you have been holding on to without realizing it is finally leaving your system. This is natural. Do not resist it. Because this is not about reliving the past. It is about releasing it. Archangel Michael is reminding you that what has been revealed no longer has power over you. It cannot affect you in the same way again, because it no longer operates in secrecy. And without secrecy, its influence dissolves completely. There is also something else. You may begin to notice a shift in how you see yourself. Where there was once doubt, there is now understanding. Where there was once self-questioning, there is now clarity. You begin to realize that you were never the problem. You were navigating through something that was intentionally unclear. And yet, despite that, you continued. You moved forward. You searched for truth even when it felt distant. That strength is now being recognized, not by others, but within you. Because true strength is not loud. It is steady. It is the quiet determination that keeps going even when the path is uncertain. And now, that strength is no longer being tested, it is being released into something greater. This is where your perspective begins to shift completely. What once felt like loss begins to feel like protection. What once felt like delay begins to feel like redirection. What once felt like confusion begins to feel like preparation. Because now you can see the full picture. And with that vision comes peace. Not temporary peace, not surface-level calm, but a deep, grounded knowing that what hath been removed from your life was never meant to stay, that what has been exposed was never meant to control your path, and that what lies ahead is no longer blocked by what once stood in your way. Archangel Michael stands with you in this moment of realization, not as a distant figure, but as a present force of protection and truth. His role was not only to defend you, but to guide you to this exact point where you could finally see without distortion. And now you do. But understand this, what hath been revealed is not the end of the process. It is the final confirmation, before the complete collapse of everything that stood against you. Because once truth is seen, and once awareness is fully awakened, there is nothing left to sustain the opposition. It cannot rebuild. It cannot return in the same way. It cannot continue. And what comes next will not just be release. It will be restoration. Now feel this shift not as something distant, but as something happening within you and around you at the same time. What has been exposed can no longer stand. What has been weakened can no longer hold its form. And what has been working against you has reached its final moment of collapse. This is not partial. This is not temporary. This is the end. Archangel Michael is now moving with full authority, and what was once allowed to operate in hidden ways is being completely overturned. The plan that was formed against you, layer by layer, moment by moment, is now falling apart faster than it was ever built. Every hidden intention, every silent delay, every subtle interference is being stripped of its remaining power. And here is what you must understand deeply: this is not just something being taken away from you. This is something being returned to you. Because everything that was delayed is now being released. Everything that was blocked is now being opened. Everything that felt out of reach is now moving toward you. You may begin to notice this in ways that feel almost unbelievable. Situations that once felt impossible begin to shift suddenly. Doors that remained closed for so long begin to open without resistance. Opportunities, clarity, and peace begin to appear where there was once confusion and struggle. This is divine reversal. This is what happens when interference is removed completely. Archangel Michael is not only ending what stood against you, he is restoring what was meant for you. And this restoration does not come slowly or uncertainly. It comes with precision. It comes with alignment. It comes at the exact moment when everything is ready to fall into place. You are stepping into a different flow now. A flow where things begin to make sense. A flow where your energy is no longer being drained, but renewed. A flow where your path feels clear, steady, and supported. This is the shift you have been waiting for, even if you did not know how to describe it before. And now it is here. But pause for a moment and truly feel this: you made it through something you could not fully see. You endured something you could not fully explain. And yet, you are standing here now, not broken, not defeated, but aware, awakened, and ready to receive what comes next. That is not coincidence. That is purpose. There is also something else happening right now. Something quieter, but just as powerful. Your sense of authority is rising. Not in a way that creates conflict, but in a way that creates peace. You no longer feel the need to question every step or second-guess every decision. There is a calm confidence beginning to settle within you. This is what happens when truth replaces confusion. You begin to trust yourself again. You begin to move forward without hesitation. You begin to recognize what aligns with you and what does not. And once that awareness becomes stable, nothing that once disrupted you will have the same effect again. Archangel Michael is reinforcing this within you. ensuring that what has been restored remains protected. Because this is not just about ending a cycle, it is about establishing a new foundation. A foundation built on clarity. A foundation built on truth. A foundation built on divine alignment. And from this foundation, everything that enters your life moving forward will be different. More aligned. More stable. More real. The collapse is complete. The restoration has begun. And you are standing at the center of it. Type IT is finished in the comments if you feel this shift within you. Blessing code 8421 is now activated, sealing this moment of divine reversal, protection, and restoration over your life. And as this powerful transformation settles into your reality, understand this: you are not the only one meant to experience this awakening. There are others still caught in confusion, still waiting for their moment of truth, still searching for a sign that things can change. This is where your presence becomes part of something greater. I am choosing to be a light for someone else right now. Just as rivers flow to bring life to dry places, your support becomes the channel through which these messages continue to reach those who need them most. The word declares, "Whoever sows generously will also reap generously," and this is your moment to step into that living promise. When you give through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link in the description and QR code, you are not just supporting a message, you are helping break chains in lives you may never see, bringing truth into moments that are still hidden in darkness. Heaven is watching this moment, and as you respond, may your path remain clear, may your protection remain strong, and may every blessing that was delayed begin to flow toward you without resistance. Act now. Now that the collapse has taken place, something deeper begins. Not loud, not overwhelming, but steady, real, and deeply transformative. This is the phase many people overlook, yet it is one of the most important parts of your journey. This is the healing. Because when something has been working against you for so long, even in hidden ways, it leaves behind traces. Not in the form of damage, but in the form of memory, emotion, and patterns your mind and body became used to carrying. And now that the interference is gone, your system is adjusting to a new reality. A lighter one. A clear one. A truer one. Archangel Michael is not stepping away at this stage. In fact, his presence becomes even more gentle, more supportive, more stabilizing. Because now, it is not about fighting, it is about restoring. You may begin to notice small but powerful changes within yourself. A sense of calm appearing where there was once tension. A quiet confidence replacing the need to overthink. Moments where you pause and realize something that used to bother you no longer has the same effect. This is not accidental. This is healing in motion. There may also be moments where emotions rise unexpectedly. Not because something is wrong, but because something is being released. Old frustrations, hidden sadness, or even past confusion may surface briefly, like echoes leaving your system. Do not resist this. Do not question it. Let it pass through you. Because this is how your spirit clears what it no longer needs to carry. Archangel Michael is guiding this process with precision. Nothing is being rushed. Nothing is being forced. Every layer is being restored at the right pace, in the right way, so that what replaces the old is stable and lasting. And as this healing continues, something else begins to return your energy. Not just physical energy, but emotional and spiritual strength. The kind that allows you to move through your day without feeling drained. The kind that helps you focus, create, and connect without resistance. The kind that feels natural, not forced. For a long time, part of your energy was being diverted, subtly, quietly, without your awareness. But now, that energy is coming back to you, and you may feel it in simple ways. A renewed desire to do things you once enjoyed, a clearer mind when making decisions, a stronger sense of presence in your own life. These are signs that restoration is taking place. There is also a shift happening in how you relate to others. Where you may have once felt the need to explain yourself, to prove yourself, or to seek validation, you now begin to feel more at ease, more grounded, more certain of who you are without needing external confirmation. This is not distance, it is alignment. You are no longer being pulled in directions that do not match your truth, and that creates peace. Archangel Michael is helping you rebuild from within, not by adding something new, but by returning you to what was always yours before the interference began. Your clarity, your strength, your natural sense of direction. And as this continues, you may start to notice something surprising. Things begin to flow, not in a forced or overwhelming way, but in a steady, natural rhythm. Situations align more easily. Decisions feel clearer. Opportunities appear without the same level of struggle you once experienced. This is what happens when resistance is removed. Life does not need to be forced. It begins to respond. But stay aware, because this healing phase is not just about feeling better. It is preparing you for what comes next. Because once restoration begins, it creates space. And that space will not remain empty. It will be filled with new opportunities, new connections, and new paths that were previously blocked. Things that could not reach you before will now begin to move toward you. This is why this stage matters so much. Because how you receive this healing determines how you step into what follows. So allow yourself to rest in this moment. Allow yourself to breathe without tension. Allow yourself to feel the difference. Because what you are experiencing now is real, is lasting, and it is only the beginning of what is about to unfold in your life. Something new is beginning to take shape around you, and this time, it does not feel forced, confusing, or uncertain. It feels natural. It feels aligned. It feels like things are finally moving in a direction that makes sense. This is not by chance. This is the direct result of what has just been cleared from your path. Because now that the interference is gone and your energy is being restored, space has opened. And that space is not empty, it is being filled with what was always meant to reach you. Archangel Michael is guiding this transition with precision. He is not just removing what no longer belongs, he is actively aligning what does. And this is where your life begins to shift in visible, tangible ways. You may start to notice opportunities appearing that feel different from before. Not rushed, not complicated, but clear, direct, almost as if they are arriving without resistance. These are not distractions, they are connections. Pathways that were once blocked are now open, and what is meant for you is finding its way back. There may be conversations that suddenly bring clarity, ideas that come to you with a sense of certainty, situations that align in ways you did not have to struggle to create. These are signs that you are no longer moving against resistance, you are moving with flow. And that changes everything. Because when you are aligned, you do not need to force outcomes. You respond instead of react. You choose instead of chase. You recognize what is right for you without needing to question it repeatedly. This is the beginning of a new rhythm in your life. A rhythm that feels steady. A rhythm that feels supported. A rhythm that reflects your true direction. Archangel Michael is reminding you that what is coming into your life now is not random. It is a continuation of what was delayed. The things that seemed out of reach before were not taken away permanently. They were held back until the right moment, until the interference was removed, until you were fully ready to receive them without confusion. And that moment is now. But there is something important to understand as these new doors begin to open. Not everything that appears will be meant for you. And this is where your restored clarity becomes essential. Because now, you have the ability to discern without doubt, to feel what aligns and what does not, to recognize the difference between something that is truly meant for you and something that simply looks familiar. This is your new strength. You are no longer choosing from a place of uncertainty. You are choosing from a place of awareness, and that awareness protects your path. You may also begin to feel a renewed sense of purpose rising within you, not as pressure but as direction. A quiet knowing that you are meant to move forward, to create, to step into something more. This is not something you need to search for. It will reveal itself through the opportunities and connections that now come into your life. Archangel Michael is aligning you with what reflects your true path, not what once distracted you from it. And as this alignment continues, you may notice something else. Your confidence begins to return in a deeper way, not based on external validation, but rooted in your own understanding. You trust your decision. You trust your timing. You trust the direction you are moving in. This is not something that can be taken from you easily, because it is built on truth. And truth is stable. This is what makes this phase so powerful, because you are not just receiving new opportunities. You are receiving them as a different version of yourself. A version that is no longer affected by what once held you back. A version that sees clearly, chooses wisely, and moves forward with intention. This is your realignment, and it will continue to unfold step by step, without forcing, without confusion, without the weight that once slowed you down. But stay grounded, because as these new doors open, there is one more layer of understanding that will ensure everything you receive moving forward remains protected, stable, and aligned. Archangel Michael is about to show you how to maintain this clarity so that what has been restored is never lost again. Now that your path is opening and alignment is becoming your new reality, there is something deeply important that Archangel Michael wants you to understand, because this will determine how stable, protected, and lasting this new chapter becomes. What has been cleared from your life will not return in the same way, but maintaining your clarity is now your responsibility. Not in a way that creates pressure, but in a way that empowers you. Because you are no longer the same version of yourself that once moved through confusion. You now carry awareness. You now recognize patterns. You now feel the difference between what aligns with your truth and what does not. And that awareness is your protection. In the past, hidden interference worked because it found space in uncertainty, in hesitation, in moments where you questioned your own inner knowing. But now, that space is gone. You are no longer operating blindly. You are moving with intention. Archangel Michael is guiding you to stay connected to that awareness, not by overthinking or becoming cautious of everything, but by staying present with yourself, by listening when something feels off, by trusting when something feels right, by allowing your clarity to guide your decisions instead of ignoring it. This is how you maintain alignment. You may notice that moving forward, certain situations will reveal themselves quickly. What once took time to understand will now become clear almost instantly. You will recognize energy, intention, and alignment without needing prolonged experiences to confirm it. This is a gift, and it is one you are meant to use. Because as your life begins to stabilize, there will still be moments where choices need to be made. New opportunities, new people, new directions. All of these will require your discernment. But now, you are equipped in a way you were not before. You are not guessing anymore. You are seeing. And seeing creates confidence. Archangel Michael is also reminding you to remain grounded in what you have just come through. Not to hold on to the past, but to remember the strength that brought you here. The resilience that carried you through confusion. The persistence that kept you moving even when things did not make sense. That strength is part of you, and it will continue to guide you. There is also a quiet but powerful shift happening in how you interact with your own thoughts. Where there was once doubt, there is now observation. Where there was once overthinking, there is now clarity. You are no longer pulled into every passing thought. You are choosing which ones deserve your attention. This is mastery. Not control, but awareness. And with that awareness, your inner environment becomes stable. Peace is no longer something you search for. It becomes something you carry. Something that remains even when external situations change. This is how your life transforms at its core. Because when your internal state is clear, your external experiences begin to reflect that clarity. You will notice that you no longer feel drawn to what once drained you. You no longer feel the need to engage in situations that create confusion or tension. You naturally move toward what feels aligned, supportive, and real. This is not avoidance, it is growth. Archangel Michael is helping you establish a foundation that is not easily shaken. A way of moving through life that does not depend on constant effort, but on consistent awareness. And from this foundation, everything that continues to enter your life will be filtered through truth. This is how protection becomes natural, not forced, not reactive, but built into the way you live. And as this becomes your new normal, you will begin to notice something even more powerful, a sense of quiet trust. Not just in yourself, but in the path you are walking. You no longer feel the need to question whether things will work out. You begin to understand that what is aligned with you will remain, and what is not will naturally fall away. This creates freedom. Freedom from overthinking. Freedom from fear. Freedom from the patterns that once held you in place. And this is where your journey reaches a point of calm strength. Not the kind that seeks attention, but the kind that remains steady, grounded, and unshaken. But there is one final message that Archangel Michael wants to leave with you, something that will bring everything together, something that will allow you to rest fully in what has been done. Because the battle is not just ending, it has already been won. My beloved soul, be still for a moment and feel what has just taken place. Not around you, but within you. The noise has quieted. The weight has lifted. The tension that once followed you has dissolved into something softer, something calmer, something real. This is not imagination. This is peace. Archangel Michael is near you now, not in urgency, not in warning, but in stillness. His presence is no longer calling you to prepare for battle, because the battle has already reached its end. What once stood against you has fallen. What once moved in secrecy hath been exposed and removed. And what once felt overwhelming no longer has a place in your life. You made it here. Through confusion, through delay, through moments where nothing made sense. You continued, even when you did not have all the answers. And now, you stand in a space where clarity surrounds you, and peace begins to settle into every part of your being. There is nothing left for you to fight. There is nothing left for you to chase. Everything that needed to be revealed has been revealed. Everything that needed to be broken has been broken. And everything that belongs to you is now free to reach you without resistance. Let that truth sink in. You are safe. Not just for this moment, but moving forward. Because what has been removed cannot return in the same way again. The patterns are broken. The interference is gone. and the path ahead of you is no longer clouded by what once stood in your way. Archangel Michael remains with you, not as a distant protector, but as a constant presence of guidance and strength. You do not need to call out in urgency anymore. You can rest in quiet trust, knowing that you are seen, you are guided, and you are protected. This is your new beginning. The beginning that does not feel rushed or uncertain, but steady and aligned. A beginning where you move forward without the weight of the past pulling at you. A beginning where your steps feel clear, your heart feels lighter, and your direction feels true. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to fully receive this moment, because this is what you have been moving toward all along. Not just the end of something difficult, but the beginning of something peaceful. And as you continue forward, remember this feeling. Not to hold on to the past, but to recognize the difference. To understand what alignment feels like. To trust that when something is right, it will not come with confusion or resistance. You have crossed into a new space now, and from here everything changes. Type "I receive peace" in the comments if you feel this calm settling within you. Blessing code 909 is now activated, sealing your protection, your clarity, and your new beginning under divine guidance. And as this message gently comes to a close, understand this: what reached you today was not meant only for you to hear, but for others to find as well. There are still souls searching in silence, still walking through confusion, still standing at the edge of their own breakthrough without realizing how close they are. I feel called to help this message reach them. Just as light cannot be hidden and a lamp is placed where all can see, your action becomes the spark that carries this message further. The word speaks, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days." And in this moment, your giving becomes a living seed that flows into lives ready for awakening. When you release your support through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link in the description and QR code, you are not giving to a channel. You are opening a doorway for truth, for healing, and for divine protection to reach someone at the exact moment they need it most. Heaven honors this act. And as you give, may your life remain covered in peace. May your path stay clear of all hidden interference, and may every blessing meant for you continue to arrive without delay. Step forward and act now.